Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Morning After Recap Show brought to you by IrishSportsDaily.com. I am Greg Flammang. It is Sunday, September 30th. Oh, no, I'm sorry, September 28th. And Notre Dame yesterday, 56, Arkansas 13. We're going to talk about that game, and we're going to talk about this football weekend that is probably the best and most enjoyable weekend for Notre Dame fans specifically of the season so far. Isaac K puts in the chat, hell of a weekend. Notre Dame dub, USC loss, Penn State loss, Brian Kelly loss. I said I went in on Drew Aller on Friday, and I was never felt better about that. It's just not that good. CJ Carr is better than him, and he will be better than him. And that has always been true. So James Franklin loses again in a big moment at home. The whole season is geared towards this game for home and your whiteout and everything. They needed a fourth quarter rally to have a chance in overtime. Drew Aller throws a terrible interception on the first play of the second overtime. And so they go down to Oregon 30-24. Brian Kelly loses. And so we'll talk about that. We can talk about USC. We're going to talk a lot about Notre Dame, obviously, and their offense and the defense that looked really good at times yesterday. So it's going to be a very, very fun morning after recap show. I do want to mention off the top, Jason Z says thoughts for Jaden Mickey. He was injured on a kickoff return or kickoff team yesterday. He had an injury. They brought out the stretcher. They put him on a backboard, and he did the thing where he put the thumb up to let people know that, obviously he's got movement in his extremities and things like that. But thoughts to him, right? He is on the schedule. Boise State is on the schedule next weekend. I don't know. I haven't seen the injury. I don't know the prognosis or anything like that. But as a former Notre Dame player, and any player in college football, but him specifically because he is a former Notre Dame player, our thoughts go out to him and his father and his family for his speedy recovery. Hopefully he's doing okay and things are all right for him. Whether or not he's able to play next weekend is kind of up in the air at this point. But we hope he gets better. So we want to put that out up at the top. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. If you like what you hear, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so whenever it is the show is going live. Links to the podcast are in the description below. And as always, the show is brought to you by ESQ Clothing, founded by Notre Dame alum Ge Wang. You've seen ESQ on all your favorite Notre Dame players and coaches. It's Chicago's go-to for the best custom suits, shirts, and sport coats. As Notre Dame reloads for the season, now's the time to refresh your wardrobe and add the perfect suit, sport coat, tuxedo, or casual jacket for fall. ESQ's master tailors combine next-level craftsmanship with the finest fabrics to deliver a fit that's built just for you. Now with showrooms both downtown Chicago and in Winnetka. Book your custom fitting at esqclothing.com and step into confidence with Chicago's finest. Mention ISD at your appointment and receive 10% off your entire purchase. That's esqclothing.com. Jason Z says quarter one defense observations. I think in the first quarter, it was a lot more of what we've seen throughout the year with the defense. Obviously, there were some openings in their zones. They had Arkansas. When Arkansas was getting off the field, it's because they were dropping passes and, kind of making mistakes. And Notre Dame wasn't forcing them off the field. But as the game went on, I thought Notre Dame adjusted to them, and I thought that they started to play better, right? And on the post game yesterday, I was talking to Jamie about it felt like the Miami of Ohio game last year with Notre Dame's offense. And first of all, it's a big difference to be struggling in the beginning of a game against a team like Arkansas, which has a very good offense. Right. So it's like Notre Dame struggled defensively or on offense against Miami of Ohio's defense. But that's obviously a MAC team. Right. So you shouldn't really struggle with them. But Notre Dame had struggles against Miami of Ohio in the beginning of the game last year on offense. And then as the game went on, they picked it up and they did some very good things offensively. And I remember in that game, a lot of people were very upset about the offense. And it's just very heavy on, Riley Leonard, you need to bench him for Steve Angeli and things of that nature. And I remember thinking at the time, like, actually, they put some good stuff on tape, and they put a lot of good things out there that tend well to or lend itself to good play for the rest of the season. And that's exactly what happened. And I think that's the deal that we saw yesterday, where Notre Dame put some very good things on tape yesterday in the secondary, on the defensive line, in the run game. I thought the linebackers played well. And I thought, Mark Zachary specifically, I thought Tate Johnson did some really good things. They can build off that. And now they have a template. And now they can go watch film and say, hey, look how this looks. This is what it looks like for Notre Dame and for Notre Dame's defense. They can build off it. And so I was very encouraged as the game went on. At the beginning, I was like, they still have problems. They're still not asking questions of the offense. Like, they got the long touchdown drive that Arkansas went on. It was 14 plays, 75 yards. They just kind of ran all over them. And that's red flaggy, right? You don't want to see that. Even though it's a good offense, it didn't look good, right? And Notre Dame wasn't forcing the issue. They started to force the issue later on in the game. And look, some of that is game, kind of game control and game flow and the way it went. Like, obviously, Notre Dame scored touchdowns in their first 6 possessions. They had 6 possessions in the first half. They scored touchdowns on all of them, right? So that has an effect on an offense. But the ability to put it on tape, the ability to put the product out there that was able to slow down an Arkansas offense, I think is important, right? And it's notable, and it's something that they needed to do to give them just confidence, right? Like, just confidence in their ability to do things, right? So Arkansas ends with 365 total yards, 207 passing yards. I mean, they played Taylor Green pretty much the whole game. Just over 53% passing. They are. Let me see this. Yards per play is 5.9. I mean, they were much better. Notre Dame had a +3 yards per play advantage in this game, and so 62 plays for Arkansas's offense, 365 yards. I thought Taylor Green would throw for 300 easily. They throw for 207. So it was a very, very good performance from the middle of the second quarter on for Notre Dame's defense. So I think it's something that they can build on, and they should be happy about it. They should be proud of it. It's a big deal. Byron Boyce says, "What are your early impressions on CJ Carr? He seems to be doing more checks on the line and is in total control of the offense with that elite arm talent." So obviously, he's very, very impressive. I think the checks are he's very advanced in the checks. Here's the thing that really stands out to me is his mind for the position. I remember last week, you kind of got a feel for this when he went into the post game after Purdue. And so you have to think about, like, the Purdue game happens with the delay. He goes into the post game. I think the game was, like, from the start of the game to the end, it was like 5 or 6 hours difference, right? It's been a long time since when he goes into the press conference. It's a long time since he had the first play post to Malachi Fields for a touchdown, right? He goes into the post game press conference and he articulates exactly what happened, exactly what he was looking for, and then why the play happened the way that it did. And it's his processing is the thing that really separates him from other quarterbacks. And not to make it, I don't like making comparisons because they're different players and they get to kind of the same result a different kind of way. But like Riley Leonard last year, like, there were so many times when he would drop back and he would expect to see something and he didn't get it, and he would shuffle his feet, drop his head, and like, I'm getting out of here. And then it was like, oh, I'm actually not even pressured. I'll reset and try to find a receiver. And sometimes he did, and sometimes he didn't. But with CJ Carr, I think the touchdown to Will Pauling is a perfect example of his processing, and he's able to understand it during the play. I know what I'm looking for, and whatever I see, I can then respond. So on the play, on the touchdown to Will Pauling that's over the middle where he's wide open, Arkansas shows man. He's looking to the boundary. He wants to work the boundary to Micah Gilbert. Gilbert gets jammed on the line, and the cornerback wins that rep. But also the cornerback is looking in at the quarterback. And so Arkansas actually plays 3 high. They play cover 3 zone. And so CJ Carr's looking. He sees that Gilbert loses on the bottom. So it's like, okay, I got to work to the field now. But he doesn't turn all the way to the field. He turns and looks at the safety. He wants to find the safety and where the safety is. The safety has vacated the middle of the field and is now running over to cover the go route that Micah Gilbert is running where CJ Carr was originally looking. He vacates. He immediately snaps his hips. He knows I have this crosser coming to Will Pauling. Snaps his hips, makes the throw. Will Pauling's wide open. So it's like it's an easy throw. It's not like a big time play or anything. But the way that he got to that point, where it's like he knew he was working the boundary. He knew, oh, it's not there. I need to locate the safety, find the safety, see what he's doing. The safety's over here. I can make this throw, right? Like that's the kind of processing to me that has been lacking at the quarterback position for Notre Dame. Like even Sam Hartman wasn't very good at this. He didn't process quick enough. Riley Leonard certainly didn't process quick enough, but like Riley Leonard was such a great athlete that he could make up for that in other ways. But that to me is where CJ Carr separates himself. He knows what he's looking for. He knows what he sees. And then when he sees it, he knows what he then needs to do. And I think Marcus Freeman talks about this all the time. It's just like his constant study of the sport and his innate ability to understand the position. And I think that's the thing that separates him. But plus his arm talent. I mean, the deep out that he throws to, I think it was Faison, where the quarterback's going to jump it and pick it off. And A, the ball placement, and B, the zip that he puts on it, it's a catch for a big gain. I mean, just like stuff like that, like the back shoulder to Raridan, whereas like that ball might be intercepted, but for where he puts it. It's just special, you know. I mean, he's like Jamie put up that he's second in the nation in QBR, which is he's like at 98.1. And they've played Miami, they've played Texas A&M, right? You can't say, oh, but for his schedule. No, they've played 2 of the toughest teams that you can have. And you know, Mike Elko and the Miami defense, like, and he is where he is, like he's playing an insanely high level this early in his career. Jason Z says double bonus on the win, getting to rest more. You could rest him next week. If he wasn't 100%, I'd rest him next week too. Because first of all, Mark Zachary played a great game. They threw at him 4 times. He gave up 1 catch for 8 yards. He had a great breakup in the end zone. Unfortunately, the Arkansas player got hurt on that. Thoughts to him and his recovery. But like that's a great play. And I mean, it was just solid. It was a very solid day for Mark Zachary. So he continues to ascend. Get Leonard Moore healthy. Make sure the ankle is good. Isaac K says, would love to see Zachary split some reps with Gray when Moore is back. 100%. Yeah, now you can rest Gray a little bit and you can give him a break. He's played pretty much the whole way since the opening game. He might have played. I can't remember. I guess I can go back and look at the snap counts, but he's played a ton of snaps and they want to rest him. Jason Rizvi says, do we think that yesterday indicates Zachary has passed Golden on the depth chart? Or Golden will be more nickel. They have Golden at nickel. So he's going to be the nickel there. I don't think he's passed him per se. I just think that like if Devontae Smith was out again, then Golden would have played the whole game at nickel like he did last week. So I don't think he's passed him. They're just playing different positions. And the player that Golden is behind, was healthy and played. And look at Devontae Smith. He played a good game, right? He didn't do anything like spectacular, but he was solid. Brian Haney says, my hope is that since Ash hasn't been in college and called plays in years, that he needs to shake off the bugs, and that Notre Dame eventually will settle in and the athletes take over. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the theory of the case, right? Where he hasn't, and thank you for the comment, Brian, where he needs to see what it looks like on tape, and he needs to be able to evaluate, this is what it's going to be. This is what we need to do. This is how it looks when we pressure. There was the, in the second quarter, there was the third down pressure where Arkansas was in field goal range. It was 3rd and 9. Notre Dame sent 6. They pressured Green. The crosser's open, but he's pressured, and so it's an inaccurate throw. He throws it in the ground, and Notre Dame gets off the field, and they force the field goal, right? And then they go down. I think it was 28-10 at that point. I might be wrong. Maybe it was the second quarter. Maybe it was the third quarter. Either way, whenever it happened, they sent pressure, and they got off the field, right? And that, like, when you see that happen, and there were enough times when Notre Dame sent some pressure and they were able to force the issue. I think it was on the first drive of the game, Notre Dame sent, or the first play of the game, Notre Dame sent pressure. They sent 6, right? And it was an incompletion, same kind of deal. When you start to see it, it's like, okay, you start to get a feel for it. And that's good for Chris Ash, right? Jason Rizvi says 247 yak yards for Notre Dame is super impressive. This is something that Jamie and I brought up on the show yesterday, is like 247 yards after the catch. Jamie had flagged this as an issue for Arkansas on the preview show. So good job by my guy Jamie, always bringing the stats that are relevant to people. They had trouble with this. Arkansas had trouble with this. It was funny. I was looking at the PFF stats. Arkansas they were only credited with 10 missed tackles. I don't feel like that's even possible. Like I feel like it was so much more than that. But maybe that's correct. Maybe that's correct. Robert Hallecky says Franklin and BK going poopy in the potty is the cherry on top on an awesome Saturday. It's funny, man. It's funny stuff. I thought, watching LSU play, and when Dabo, after the game, and he got some gruff for this after the game that Clemson played against LSU, he said, I gave them a 62 grade and us a 58. I didn't think either team played well. And I think in hindsight, like, it might be that he just identified 2 not very good football teams. And he might have been correct, because Clemson is not a good football team right now. And LSU hasn't looked good offensively in like ever, like at all in 2025. So that's interesting. Jason Z says, even Carr's downfield incompletions are right on the money and where they need to be. That's been great to see, actually. And I was talking about his PFF grade today. I mean, he probably got downgraded because he missed Pauling on like a corner route where Pauling's open. He overthrows him. He overthrew Malachi Fields on another one. So he did have opportunities, not as bad as like the Marcel Reed misses that he had against Notre Dame, but he had some opportunities that he didn't know. Pat Subkowski says, I tweeted about it, but that back shoulder throw Carr made to Greathouse was elite. It's a very good throw. Very good throw. Robert Hallecky says, lots of strong opinions about Notre Dame in the playoff. Fine, Bob said he doesn't think Notre Dame will make it. I say let it play out. Lots of volatility this year. Waste of time. It is a waste of energy and time for anyone to talk about Notre Dame. It is September. No one knows? It is September. If they go 10-2, if they go 10-2 and they're scoring, what is their average? I think they're averaging 44 points a game. If they go 10-2 and are averaging 44 points a game, they will make it. The committee will find a way to put a team like that, especially when their metrics are going to be good. They will have good metrics, and they can't go 10-2 unless the defense improves. If the defense gets better and they're scoring 45 points a game and they're explosive and they have Jeremiah Love and they have Jadarian Price and they have this young quarterback and an exciting offense and the defense has gotten better, they will make it. Like, what's the point of talking about this? There's no point. Let the season happen. People enjoy the sport. and I'm preaching to the choir here, but enjoy college football, guys. Yesterday was a great day. Like Bud Elliott, and I think Bud Elliott is like super smart, and he's making a point on Twitter that I think is probably even correct, right? And he is super smart, and he's very good. He knows football and all that stuff. I am not throwing shade at Bud Elliott, but like he tweeted out, Notre Dame had a bad day yesterday because of the way that the rest of the schedule played out. Like USC losing hurts Notre Dame and whatever. So Notre Dame fans are then supposed to feel like yesterday was a bad day when they win 56-13 and USC loses and LSU loses and Penn State. Like, no. Like, stop trying to make people feel bad about the fun of the sport. Like, being happy that your rivals or your least favorite teams win or lose, your least favorite teams lose, like being happy about that. That's what college football is. Like, stop taking that away from people. That's what we want. Like, we want to enjoy. Yesterday was a great day. I don't care what it means for Notre Dame's resume. I don't care what it means for this, that, and the other. I want to watch Notre Dame play good football. That's what I want. Notre Dame played really good football yesterday. No one's going to tell me yesterday was a bad day. And if they go 10-2 and they miss out by a place in the playoffs, then you know what? Stop a 4th and 11, and we're not having this conversation. Like, Notre Dame had chances to cement their place either against Miami or Texas A&M. They didn't do it. If they go win 10 in a row, and I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, you know, I guess I should have been upset on September 27th. Because no. Like, let people enjoy the sport. Paul Feinbaum is everything that's wrong with American culture media. He knows nothing. He doesn't even like football. He just exists to make people mad. Why? Like, what? Why does anyone care about him? He exists to make people upset. Doesn't matter. Like, let him do whatever he wants. Who cares what he thinks? He is not important. He's not a decision maker. He's not in control of metrics. He's not in control of anything. He is literally just a man talking. He is not. And I'm not. And I'm actually glad Robert brought this up, because I did want to talk about it. Because it's like, no, man, don't tell me yesterday was a bad day. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me it was a bad day, because it wasn't. All right, rant over. It's a good rant. Good rant. All right. Jason Z says, who were starting safeties? Is Stroman playing better? Didn't see snap count. Starting safeties were Tay Johnson and Adon Schuler. I will give you the exact snap counts. Total snap counts. And we can do the whole defense if you like. Tay Johnson, 55 total snaps. So this is 55 out of 66. So he came out when they brought in the backups. Snap count leaders, Tay Johnson, 55. Christian Gray, 55. Mark Zachary, 52. Drake Bowen, 50. Don Schuler, 44. So they brought in Stroman. Stroman played 20 snaps. So Stroman got the Stroman and Luke Talich got more of the Adon Schuler snaps than the Tay Johnson snaps. So that's a fact. Madden Framo, 13 snaps in this game. He played early. KVA, 30. Osbury, 33. So the linebacker breakdown was Bowen, 50. Osbury, 33. KVA, 30. Where's Sneed? Sneed, 22. So a good amount of snaps for everybody there. And then Framo, 13. And by the way, like, I think there's near universal happiness with Max Bulla as a coach. I think everyone likes him. The coaches, yeah, but I think fans like him as well. And there's a lot of takes about Drake Bowen out there. People have strong feelings about Drake Bowen. Max Bulla, who everyone likes, continues and consistently gives Drake Bowen the most snaps. Notre Dame seems to think that he's a good football player. And so I don't there's nothing else for Jamie and I think he's good. And so it just they continue to give him the most snaps at the linebacker position that has a lot of good football players on it. So that's how I look at it. I think he's good. So that's my analysis. I think he does a good job. And then the Notre Dame staff does as well. So people need to take heed of that. Kevin M says, should we start feeling like CJ Carr is really special? Yes, you should. Yes, you should. He is really special. He just is. He just is. As quickly, like I said, he's better than Aller. He's better than Nussmeier. He's better than Arch. He's better than Klubnik. Every single one of those schools would take CJ Carr right now. If that was a thing in college football, if you could just say, hey, I will take CJ Carr in place of my quarterback, they would do it. 100%. 100%. Name a quarterback. Maybe Oklahoma. I mean, Mateer's hurt, but maybe Oklahoma wouldn't take him. I'm sure Oregon's happy with Dante Moore right now. But there's so many teams that would take CJ Carr over their current situation. It's just true. Tim B says, true overthrow, not good. It isn't good. You're right, Tim. Thank you for that comment, because overthrows mean no one has a chance to catch it. You got to give your guy a chance. Tim B, another comment, says, love the game. So great watching Notre Dame play. They can do it this year. Thank you, Tim. I don't recall you being in the chat before. Thank you for your attendance. Hit that like, hit subscribe. Hope to see you again. Jason Rizvi says, really impressed by Notre Dame's defense yesterday. Pass rush has some life. One thing I noticed so far this year that's concerning to me is, where is Jalen Sneed? Losing snaps to Faremo, not making big plays. My question to you, Jason, is why is it concerning to you? Because Jalen Sneed has become what he kind of always has been, which is he's a situational guy that Notre Dame can implement in pass rush type situations. He plays certain standard, he plays standard downs or whatever it might be. But I think Jalen Sneed is kind of being what he's always been, and things are kind of settling in for what we kind of expected, right? So let's just go through the defense in their total snaps, right? So Drake Bowen is first on the linebackers with 198 snaps. By the way, going back to Christian Gray and how he needs a break, and Mark Zachary can provide that for him once Leonard Moore is back. Christian Gray has played 265 of the 279 total snaps on defense this year. He needs a break. By the way, Tay Johnson, third on the team in total snaps at safety, as a safety. So third on the defense, in total snaps. So let's see. The linebacker rotation is Drake Bowen has 198 snaps. Next is KVA at 151. And then Jaden Osbury at 137. And then Jalen Sneed at 93, right? And you figure Madden Frame was going to start catching up. He's at 36, so he's going to start catching up there. So it's Bowen, KVA, Osbury, Sneed, right? And I think, obviously his camp was his camp, but right now, I think people would have kind of expected that, right? That's what we're going to see at the linebacker position. So I'm not really concerned about Sneed and his snaps or what he's getting. I think he is what the kind of Notre Dame planned, and what fans kind of think of that. So I'm not worried about what Jalen Sneed has done, and I think as the season goes on, he's going to make some big plays, as he always does. Robert Halicki, Dan Lanning was on one last night. Dan Lanning is a high-strung individual. Credit to his team. They went into a tough environment and won. It's hard to go on the road and win. And it's hard for a West Coast team to go all the way to the East Coast like that. That's a great job by him and his team. They figured it out. Chris Wojak. Sorry I'm late, but I was listening to yesterday's pod on the treadmill. Any chance I could get an Andy Rooney type segment with you just talking about Drew Aller? Why do people think he's good? He has never played well in a big game ever. Why do people think he's good? He is not good. I mean, listen, I'll go find it. I'm going to go find his stuff. And I'm going to compare it to CJ Carr because they're just, CJ Carr is just clearly so much better than him, especially when you consider the competition, right? I'm going to find it. I'm going to go to passing. Now I'm going to open up a new page and I'm going to and the thing is Drew Aller's not even doing it against the little teams like FIU. He's not doing it against them. He's never had he's never played well in a big game. That's just a fact. And all right, here we go. For the season, Drew Aller, 63% passing, 763 yards. They've both played 4 games, right? They've both played 4 games. This is his 3rd season as a starter. 63% passing, 6.8 yards per attempt, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Right? On the schedule, prior to yesterday, where he was 14 of 25 for 137 yards, 5.5 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And one of those touchdowns is a shovel pass, which is he flipped it forward. Congratulations. Prior to Oregon, they played Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. CJ Carr, 66% passing, 1,091 yards, 10.1 yards per attempt, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's played 4 games total. CJ Carr's game against Miami, where he was 19 of 32 for 221 yards, 6.9 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and the rushing stuff is better in a big game than Drew Aller has ever played. Ever. He's in a big game. He is not good. He's not a good quarterback. It's unfortunate. And I'm tired of hearing about it. He's not a good player. First round pick. What? I've been hearing people talk about him for a long time because he has a good arm. Why doesn't he throw good passes? It's like a money ball. If he's so good, then why doesn't he hit good? If he has a good swing, why doesn't he hit good? If Drew Aller is such a great thrower, then why doesn't he throw good passes? It's unfortunate. I'm tired of hearing about it. Thank you, Chris, for that. Kevin M says, Greg, would like to hear your opinion on this. Is it a case of Carr being this good early on, or is it Denbrock calling his best games at OC, or both? I mean, I think the two things go hand in hand. CJ Carr is a good quarterback, and he's very good at things. And so therefore, Mike Denbrock can call plays that accentuate a good quarterback and accentuate the offense. I think they have very good wide receivers. Malachi Fields is very good. Jordan Faison's having a great season. Jaden Greathouse, every time they throw to him, he's doing something good, right? So, I think – because let's look at the receiving stuff for Notre Dame. Let me find it. When they throw these guys the ball and it's not batted down, which has been unfortunate for Greathouse specifically because the ball keeps getting batted down. He's catching the ball, So like yesterday, they threw him the ball. He makes the catches. And so I think that because of CJ Carr's ability, his ability to process and his ability to make good decisions back there and then make the throws, it makes Mike Stenbach's job so much easier because it's like, oh, if I call this, I'm going to get the throw that I want. And the thing that's going to be open will be there. And so therefore he can go into his bag and start to make calls that are like, yeah, like we can actually take advantage of this stuff. Whereas last year he was more limited because that wasn't what Riley Leonard could do, you know? So I think for me, that's a thing, right? So I think it's a combination of Mike Denbrock is very good, knows what to call, and CJ Carr allows him, because of his ability and his skill set, allows him to make the calls that he needs to make. Bobby Cobb, Arkansas fan, went to the game. You guys have a great fan base. Thank you, Bobby Cobb. It's very kind of you to say. Bobby Cobb says the best uniforms, period. It's interesting you say that because they wore the white pants. That's not normal. Or it's not standard, I should say. They've done it a bunch of times. Tough time yesterday, Bobby Cobb. You have a good offense. That's a good football team on offense, and they're very fun to watch. Yesterday wasn't fun to watch, and I have to say, and not that it was wrong or unwarranted, I think yesterday was the first time I've ever heard boos mid-play. So I didn't notice this until after because I always watch away games on mute. A, because it helps me focus when I'm writing my my running diary. And also, like, sometimes the announcers get on my nerves. So I didn't listen, but I was watching the game back and I had the audio on. And during the Jeremiah Love screen and then the Jadarian Price. So, and again, like, not great effort from the defense. So it's understood. But when they're running into the end zone, like, people are already booing. I don't think I've ever heard that. So not unwarranted. It wasn't good. But it's good stuff. Mitchell Vahiluk. Nice to see you, Mitchell. Thanks for being here. Late in that game, outside of the one touchdown to the corner, PSU didn't trust him. Yeah, dude, they don't think he's good. I don't know what to say. I've said what I've said. It's almost getting to the point of meanness at this point, but it just he's not good. He's not good. He doesn't play good against good teams. Peter Davis Stu says, regarding LSU, are you suggesting that a quarterback has regressed under Brian Kelly? Oh, that's funny. That's it. Nussmeier, man. He does some stuff that it's like, man, if CJ Carr did that, we'd be like, first time quarterback. This guy, he's a senior making mistakes. Domerhead says, usually not a fan of the white pants, but thought the unis were sharp yesterday. Yeah, like people have conflicting feelings on the white pants. So I posted in the running diary, like, you either associate them with the Clemson game, which went really poorly, or you associate them with the USC game that went really well. So that's something to it's just a choose your own adventure type thing. Hey, if you want to have some sort of fun adventure athletically, and you want to choose a new adventure, and you're used to more high impact sports, and you want to bring it down a little bit, but still keep the competitiveness, do it with pickleball. And if you're in the Mishawaka area, you can do it with H2 Pickleball. This is, of course, founded by Notre Dame alum Todd Hill. He is teaming with fellow alums Jack Gibbs and Will Howells, who's a top 10 pickleball pro, to bring Notre Dame fans to the Notre Dame Pickleball Crew League. Besides football, what better way to connect and engage Notre Dame fans than through pickleball? Membership is free, and members will have access to special pickleball events and discounts. For more information on the upcoming events and the discounts you can get with that, of course, a portion of the proceeds of all the events that they hold go to the Rockne Athletics Fund to support Notre Dame student athletes. To get more information, contact Todd at h2pickleball.com or 574-339-5195 to join the league. Be sure to visit the H2 Pickleball facility in Mishawaka when you are in town. H2 Pickleball is located at 55801 Evergreen Plaza Drive in Mishawaka, Indiana. Let's get to some more comments. And Moore says, Adana and Tay are nightmares for quarterbacks. And I think that they are a very good match together for their skill sets. I think Tay Johnson, who had another great break on the ball yesterday, phenomenal athlete, just love everything about him athletically. And as he learns the position, he will get better and better. I mean, he has a real possibility to be Notre Dame's next great safety. So I'm very excited about him. But I think those two complement each other in their skill sets very, very well. I think in hindsight, and Notre Dame's going to look back on this, I think possibly at the end of the season, and say this really should have been Tay Johnson and Adon Schuler from the jump, where it was Tay Johnson as that free safety and Adon Schuler as that strong safety, kind of coming down, playing closer to the line of scrimmage. Tay Johnson playing that center field role and more of the man coverage stuff. Like, I think that they really have something there, and they have found it, and it's good they found it, right? Like, good job by Mike Mickens in doing that. And I also think in hindsight, they will look back and say it should have been Devontae Smith and Dallas Golden at nickel kind of the entire time. It is what it is. Decisions get made, and you can't go back, and they have found the system. But to get to the question, like I think I really like the combination of Tay Johnson and Adon Schuler, and I hope. And they probably will, but I hope Adon Schuler is around next year as well, because this entire starting secondary with Dallas Golden as the nickel next year, if they don't choose to bring in a transfer, like the four guys of Leonard Moore, Christian Gray, Tay Johnson, and Adon Schuler could all come back next year, along with all of the linebackers, with the exception of Jalen Sneed. But then you have Madden Faremo kind of step in for him. Like, that back seven could all come back intact. And, they could really have something there. And I of course, like, I'm not trying to fall out all the way out on Christian Gray. He's got some stuff he's got to work on. So, yeah. Kevin M says, can I feel the same way about Tay Johnson as I do about Carr, because I am starting to. Feels like Johnson is already in a lot of plays all over the place. Is this the next Mickens success? I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that, like, Tay Johnson is as precocious as CJ Carr, although, like, CJ Carr affects things a little bit more, and that's just the nature of the quarterback position. Tay Johnson looks like $1 million, man. Like, he just looks like a dude. When he's walking around, you see him in his uniform, you see him just kind of striding around. Like, he looks like a dude, like someone that it's like, man, that's a football player, and I think that stands for something, especially at the safety position. So I'm fired up about him. He's a very, very good player. Justin ND Sniper says, I haven't watched Oregon's last game, but up to that point, Dante Moore was on fire. So, Isaac K says, thoughts on how Dante Moore played. I think he's a game manager at best. I mean, certainly this year it's a lot more. This year it's a lot more like distribution type thing. So this year it's kind of hard to. I'll just go game by game. Because they've played Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State, right? Like, these aren't great opponents. His numbers are obviously very good against those teams. Like yesterday, 29 to 39, 74%, like 248 yards, like 6.4 yards per attempt. So, like, they're not counting on him to push the ball down the field or anything like that. Like, his average depth of target yesterday was 5.9. So, like, they're not trying to push the ball down the field or anything like that. But at the same time, they're asking him to distribute the ball, and he's a 74% passer. Or he was a 74% passer yesterday. 3 big-time throws, 1 turnover-worthy play yesterday. He has 2 turnover-worthy plays on the season. So he's not putting the ball at risk. They're asking him to be accurate, and they're asking him to just distribute the ball and get the ball out, and he's doing it. So this is his first season as a full-time player with a good team. He didn't play a ton of football last year. Like he had 9 dropbacks last year. And obviously at UCLA, like that was a tough go, but also dysfunctional. So I whether he's more than a game manager in the future, we'll have to see. But he has, he's draft eligible in 2027. So, actually, wait, what am I talking about? He's draft eligible this year. He's been in college for 3 years. He's been out of, so he can come out now, but he won't. I'm sorry. He has eligibility till 2027. So he's got 3 years. He's got 3 years that he continue to play. I imagine he'll play 2 more years, or he'll 1 more year after this one. So let's have this one the year after that, and then we'll see. But I mean, he's looked good. I mean, he's doing everything they're asking him to do, which is Chris Walls. This is a good comment. Will Stein's offense led to being a distributor. I mean, we saw that from Bo Nix. Notre Dame superfan says 3rd and 4th in short yardage. Still needs work. Cost us a field goal versus A&M. Last year, quarterback run solved that problem. This year, the quick out has worked. Look for play action to the tight end as another. Yeah, I mean, I also think like you could get. They're not doing wildcat in these games because they don't need it. You don't need to get your players beat up, and your running backs beat up. So that's something. But I mean, I'll agree with you. I'm gonna go back and check here how they're doing on their short yardage stuff because I haven't looked at it, and so I want to get numbers to back up what we say. I apologize for the bad radio. Rushing, situational stats. All right, 3rd down and 1. They have 6 first downs. So on 3rd down, between 1 and 3 yards to go, they have 12 attempts, and they have reached a first down 6 times. So 50% of the time there. On 4th down, they have 6 attempts and 2 first downs when they run the ball. So, yeah, that conversion rate isn't the best. So that's a good observation there. I think we can call that a good observation from Notre Dame superfan. And that's something they do have to get better at. They didn't have a ton of 3rd downs yesterday in the game, just period. I think they only had, I want to say 10. And in the first half, they had barely any. Let me see if I can check this here. I should be able. So 10 3rd downs in the game. Let me look at the quarter stuff. In the first half, Notre Dame had 4 3rd downs in 41 plays. Notre Dame ran, 41 plays. They had 4 3rd downs total. That's incredible. Arkansas ran 33 plays and they had 8 3rd downs. So, and Notre Dame was 3 or 4 on 3rd down, 75%. So, it was a clinic it was a clinic in the first half for Notre Dame. Notre Dame had 1 3rd down in the first quarter. So that's good. That's a good thing. Justin Endy Sniper says, I think it'd be close, but I can't really argue that it wouldn't be Carr as the starter, even if Notre Dame had Dante Moore. I mean, that's hard to say. What I will say is Tommy Rees, a bit of a redemption for him. He kind of the way that played out, he kind of took CJ Carr and was like before, and when Notre Dame was trying to get Dante Moore as well, they took CJ Carr, who was a year later, and that obviously worked out very well. I said to Jamie on the post game yesterday, listen, for whatever you want to say about the DC hire, to me it looks like a mistake. At the same time, like he made the right call on the quarterback with CJ Carr. And I know it was close. I'm very confident that it actually was close. And look, Kenny Minchie has not looked bad ever. When he's come in, he threw a dime yesterday to Matt Jeffrey on a slot fade. So that was a good throw. So I know it was close. And I also know like players in the program, I don't know if it was a want thing, but they thought that Kenny Minchie was going to be named the starter. And Marcus Freeman went with his gut, and obviously his gut was 100% correct on this. So good call. But like, imagine if he went with Minchie and Carr then transferred out of this program, and he went and did this for another school. People would be apoplectic. It would be so bad. So good call by Marcus Freeman on that, because you just can't let him walk away. Chris Wawarka says Carr has the potential to be the best Notre Dame quarterback in a very long time. So I've been like, you have these conversations, right? People, in chats and in DMs and all this stuff, like best quarterback since when, like best offense since when. It's hard because you're now bridging eras and things of that nature. I don't like, where can you even, when has Notre Dame had a quarterback this good with running backs this good? And so the thing with, like, you go back to years like okay, Brady Quinn, right? Like, he was obviously a very good passer, not this early, but he was a very good passer. But like, Notre Dame's running game wasn't as good as this, not even close, right? Like, Darius Walker is a good player, very good player. It's like DeJohn Price and Jeremiah Love. Like, you're taking them, right? Like, you're taking those running backs. You just haven't had this explosive. I mean, Notre Dame's averaging 10.1 yards per attempt. I mean, it's crazy. Like, and his air yards too. I mean, he's pushing the ball. I mean, he's pushing the ball very well, right? Like, he has 5 big time throws already this year. His average depth of target is 9.4. I mean, that's as good as, like, you're getting everything. You get the running game and you get the deep passing game. It's just all kind of coming together. Like, you want to let the season play out, and you want to play the whole season before you start to, like, really draw conclusions into how good the offense is. But it just has all the hallmarks of, like, the really good offense. You can be explosive, running game and passing game. Like, that is what makes great offense. And then you can run the ball for power too. And he can scoot. Like, he had a 3rd down conversion on his legs yesterday. And the thing about that, even, like, he makes the pump fake. So there's the player who's covering, I think it's either Faison or I think it was Faison or Pauling, and he's on the outside, and the player's covering Pauling or covering the wide receiver, but he's looking at the quarterback. And so CJ Carr knows, I don't want him to come off on me. I want him to stay with this wide receiver. So he pumps at the wide receiver to ensure that the player stays with him and doesn't come off. It's just like that type of game understanding that he has that makes him very, like, so much more advanced than other players. Like, the useful pump fake to give himself space. I mean, his awareness is just off the charts for a football player. Robert Hallecky says, hope the price is right, stays for one more season. It is so much fun watching our running backs each week. I'd offer a lot of money. CFB Hertz says over under 42.5 points per game for this offense rest of season. So they're averaging 44 right now. So 42.5, like 42.5 is under that. You might have to take the over. Rest of way, you have Boise State, NC State. NC State is not good defense. Boise State's not a good defense. USC gave up 505 yards. 505 yards of offense to Illinois. BC, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. I mean, shoot, man. They might hit the over. On 40. I mean, Brendan McElendon right now is crying. Like, he's literally in tears thinking about this, with Notre Dame possibly averaging like 45 points a game. Tears streaming down his face. He's been calling for it forever. You might have to hit the over on this. It's just hard. How do you stop them? Again, when you're explosive, you can get yards and they scored 56 points yesterday. When they or I'll just say 42. They scored 42 points in the second half or in the first half on all 6 drives. And they only had one short field, which was 45 yards. They did it having to drive the length of the field every time, the first 5 times, and they did it. And they scored 42. I mean, they almost hit the over. They almost hit this over under in the first half. So, Kevin M says it's weird. We have to think about this, but would wonder what the financial situation will look like for Carr next year or Price. A lot of money, but Notre Dame has it. I'm not something I'm worried about. Troy McIntosh says, I will say over because Freeman is trying to get to the playoffs. They will not call off the dogs. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, they've got to be impressive. Troy McIntosh, they could have scored 70, 100%. They could have. 100% they could have. Yeah. CFB Hurts, they scored 42 points in the first half and didn't receive to start the game. Chris Waworka, this is a good point. I was thinking about this. If Notre Dame played A&M Miami now, it would be fun to watch. I think Miami would be interesting because that was the first game and McDembrock didn't know what he had. Like, and he couldn't know what he had, right? And now he kind of does. The A&M game is what it is. Like, I think they were fine offensively against A&M. And I think Mike Denbrock kind of had an understanding of how good CJ Carr was at that point. But, like, I don't think he did against Miami. And, obviously Miami would then get tape. I'm curious to know how it would go, but it would be interesting to see with the knowledge that Mike Denbrock has of what he is. And he's kind of seen Miami's defense at this point. I don't want to get into this conversation and take something away from the way Miami played. Both teams, it was the opener for both teams, and Miami won the game. So I don't want to make too much of it. But it's just I've thought about this as well. So that's a good point by Chris Waworka. Kevin M says, when is the last time Notre Dame running backs were this good in unison with quarterback? Who are Montana's running backs in 78? So again, eras, right? I think if you looked at Reggie Brooks and Jerome Bettis in 92 with Rick Meyer, Notre Dame, again, the passing, there's just no comparison to the way that Notre Dame's offense is passing wise and the way offenses were in 1992, But I think when you look at Rick Meyer, and the funny thing is that I compared CJ Carr's mobility to Rick Meyer because I think they do have similar mobility. Rick Meyer was mobile. I mean, he could run the option. He was good at it. And so it's funny that we then come up on some like Bettis and Brooks. Obviously, neither of these guys are like Bettis. Reggie Brooks is actually kind of, in a way, a compilation of Price and Love. Like, he had very good breakaway speed, similar to Price and Love. I think his feet were a little bit better than Price's, but not quite as good as Love's. So Reggie Brooks was a very good college running back. So it's but I would say 92 was the last time they were this good, and this type of explosiveness in the running game. And that 92 team was very, very explosive. So CFB Hurt says, I'd like to see Notre Dame play A&M again. I would. So the A&M piece is like, I want them to have Devontae Smith, and I want them to start Bronte Johnson the whole game and see how that goes. I think if you go Devontae Smith and Bronte, I think Notre Dame has a better chance off defensively. They won't give up 41 points like they did. They gave up. They went with Bronte in the second half, and they gave up 13 points against A&M. So, Michael Hahn says, I get the impression Notre Dame won't see Jag Usah anytime soon. I have no inside info, but that's the feeling I get. The feeling you get is correct. Oh, Jess Smetana. Let's go. What's up, Jess? got an opportunity to hang out with Jess at the A&M game. Went and got some cold brew at the Morrison. She loves the cold brew Morrison. Jess Matana with the Echoes podcast. Check it out. She does a great job with Mike Golick Jr. And she's on the Lebertard show. She's all over everything. So thank you for being here, Jess. I appreciate your attendance. She's a subscriber. She's a liker. Why don't you hit the subscribe? Why don't you hit the like as well? Thanks for popping in. Chris Waworka says they say first round for Love. Price wouldn't be too far behind. I mean, the thing is you look at Kyron Williams, right? Like he got paid and he went in the 5th round, I think it was. So you can just get into the NFL if you're good. See, that's the thing with a lot of NFL players right now, or a lot of college players. Like get into the NFL, be good, and make your money. Right? That's what Kyron did. He got paid. A lot of running backs do that. So, Notre Dame superfan, biggest defensive challenge, fixed first half adjustments. Quarter 2 has been the killer. Every second half has improved on the first. That's a good point. Good point, Notre Dame superfan. This is a trend that we've seen every single time. They gave up, I want to say 10 points to Miami in the second half, or was it? No, 13 points to Miami in the second half. I mean, that was a slight improvement. Slight improvement to the 14 they gave up in the thing. Obviously, against A&M, 28 first half, 13, and then 7 second half. Kind of 0 second half against Purdue because it was the garbage time at the end. That's a 7-point thing. And then in this one, they shut out Arkansas in the second half. So that's a good point. I mean, start the game. You'll make your adjustments sooner. It's a good call by you, Notre Dame superfan. Thank you for your contribution. That was really good. Michael Cannon says, is it fair to say that Freeman took over a certain % of defensive play calling duties and maybe also gave some to Mickens? Chris Ash didn't seem involved on the sidelines, just a thought. I don't know that it's fair to say because I don't know that that's actually correct. I don't know that that's actually true. So I don't know that it's fair to say. Well, I think it is probably fair to say that what we know of Marcus Freeman, he is not going to sit around and hope something happens, right? I imagine during the week he was heavily involved and he was into the game plan and he was with the defense. And I'm sure we'll hear some reporting on that to some effect because I do believe that's what happened. I think on the day, I don't know that he gave anything to Mickens or anything like that. I think that he was just monitoring the defense. And so, and look, as he should, he's the head coach and he was the defensive coordinator. That's his specialty. He should do that. Right. And so I don't want to do this thing where it's like Marcus Freeman gets all the credit. No, he's doing what head coaches do. If Chris Ash called a better game and he had those guys more prepared and he made adjustments sooner, then good on him too. I don't have I think of people have a problem with Chris Ash. There was a question on the Irish Sports Daily message board about, do you want the defense to improve, or do you want them to continue to struggle so that Ash gets fired? I don't have a personal problem with Chris Ash. If he gets it figured out, then that's great, and I hope he stays for as long as he's doing a good job. Right? I want the defense to get fixed because you want to cover a good defense, right? You want to cover good football. I don't have a problem with Chris Ash. If he gets it figured out, perfect. That's great. Stay forever. So thanks, Jess. Jessica Smetana. I love the pod. Go Irish. I love the Echoes. So that works out. We love our pods. Chris Waworka says, how do you feel about the D-line play pass rush? I've listened to Power Hour tomorrow with Jamie and Mike. He is going over the game right now. I have not watched the game back fully in an analysis point of view. So I don't want to comment specifically on a lot of the D-line stuff because I know Jamie's high on that. I know he was happy with Gabe Rubio. I know he was happy with Boubacar. I know he was happy with Elijah Hughes again. We're monitoring the Elijah Hughes situation as him kind of putting back-to-back games together. We saw some good stuff on the pass rush from, I think he liked some stuff from Bryce Young in this game. So there were some of good positives that he brought up yesterday on the post game. Tune into Power Hour tomorrow and check that out because he'll have some more specifics on that. So that's good. Bernie Corder says, have you seen a bigger improvement than with the Notre Dame secondary against Arkansas? I don't want to go too overboard with it. I thought they did some really good things in the secondary, right? They still have some questions. And they still have some issues they need to work out. I don't want to go too crazy because I do think there is some game flow stuff that really helped them. So I don't want to go over the top with praise on the secondary and how it went. It was a very good step in the right direction. So, I don't want to go too crazy. The CFB Hurt says the 2021 O-line. I think he's making reference to making changes with the defense and adjusting to what they have. I think it's a good point. The 2021 O-line. We've kind of talked about 2021 that way, in terms of like it didn't look good, and then the coaches who get paid a lot of money figured it out, and it looked better. Chris Unhurted. I thought the fake punt was brash, and we should have kept that in our pocket for a time that we may need it. So one thing Marty Biaggi does is he puts in fakes specific to opponent. So, and he has said this before. So basically, if the fake doesn't get used in this game, it doesn't get used ever because it's specific. It's specific to what Arkansas does. That's how he's described it. It's not how it's not me projecting. That's how he's described it. So if that's how he sees it, then that's how it is for me. It was very similar to, and the first thing I thought of was 1992 Boston College. I think Notre Dame was up 37-7 at halftime. And their first possession in the second half, they faked a punt. It became this whole big thing. And I was like, well, here's the deal. Notre Dame was up 42-13, probably not coming back. But there are comebacks in college football. And it's funny because that 1992 Notre Dame team, the previous year at home, they were up 34-3 at halftime and lost. So listen, if you are showing a weakness on your punt team and a team exploits it at the start of the third quarter, like, I'm sorry, you should be expected to be playing into the fourth quarter. If Notre Dame does this up 56 to whatever or 49 to whatever in the fourth quarter, then that's low rent. Don't do that. That's uncool. The first drive of the third quarter, I'm sorry, be ready to defend. Okay, this is big boy football. You are now all getting paid. Defend it. That's how I see it. And when Chris Unheard it says brash, I don't know if you had a problem with it or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, the first drive of the third quarter, you need to be ready to play and you need to be ready to compete. Get out there and compete. If you show a weakness and Notre Dame exploits it, then like no one, because they're still keeping score. If Notre Dame has it in their bag and they say, it's kind of not cool to do that, let's punt away, and Arkansas goes down and scores and it's 42-20. It's like, well, now you're running your full offense. Don't wait. If you see an opening, you take it. Start of the third quarter. Be ready to play football. Kevin M says, did anyone else or you, Greg, see Freeman walking with Ash along the sidelines, chirping in Ash's ear? I didn't see that. I'll go back. I'm going to watch the game later today. I'll go back and check it out. Kevin M says it was on the TV broadcast. I'll give it the once over. Justin ND Sniper says they have enough tricks up their sleeve. They shouldn't have to keep plays like that in their back pocket. Biaggi's thinking of something right now. Isaac K asks, how many drops did Arkansas have? Let's look at that. Give me a moment, please. I know they had 2 on the second drive when Notre Dame got off the field to go up 14-3. Game report. Receiving, Arkansas is credited with 3 drops. 3 drops. I think they had 2. Braylon Russell and Jaden Platt, I think, were the 2 that I'm thinking of. And they had another one with, where are you at? With Omega Blake. I don't remember that one, but I do remember the other 2. So not that many. I mean, 3 is not. It's not a good number. It's not what they want, but it's not crazy amount. Chris Waworka says on the fake punt, Jordan Faison had open field for a big game. Yeah, I think it might have been better if he just used Malachi Fields as lead blocker. Kevin M says, did Notre Dame just score another touchdown? Maybe they did. Hopefully it wasn't on a fake punt. Yes, Troy McIntosh. Yeah, the next year was the BC game where Notre Dame lost. Yep. But I don't think Notre Dame plays Arkansas next year, so it's fine. For sure. Chris Walker says Arkansas helped our D, Notre Dame's D. On the second drive, they for sure did. But look, I'm going to give credit to Notre Dame's defense. They figured things out. Nick Gruel says, joining in late, but I have to say I don't think I've ever been as disappointed in a Notre Dame opponent as I was with Arkansas. Very Purdue of last year type of quit from what I thought was a better team. I mean, obviously the Jadarian Price, when you watch the Jadarian Price play, that just should never happen. That's not good. That's going to look bad in film. That was not a good thing. And that's the one where the crowd's booing during the play. It's tough. But I'm going to end it there today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That was very, very fun. Very fun show. Happy to it was really a good day of football for everyone, both with Notre Dame and their opponents and people that Notre Dame fans are generally rooting against. So we'll be back tomorrow on the Power Hour with Jamie and Mike, and then on Tuesday with Hit and Hustle. So it's going to be a full week of fun and talking Notre Dame after a really, really good win. So have a good Sunday, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. We will talk to you tomorrow. Hit that like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so as we go live. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Keep hitting and hustling.